right, guys. So let's actually practice a little bit of stick work because I want you to know what this feels like. So we can hold the stick in a couple of different ways. And remember that in Asian Reflexology, we're going to be using some kind of oil or cream. There will be lubricant. So the surfaces you're working on, there's a lot of gliding. You need to have a pressure glide. So it needs to be some kind of cream or oil that does not absorb too quickly, that's thick because you're working on the soles of the feet, and you still want to be able to have some kind of glide, but we don't want it too slippery because you don't want to just slip right off, right? So if you use an oil that's like a really light kind of oil, like holly oil, that wouldn't be appropriate for this kind of work. A salve might be good, or a body butter, like a shea butter. Sometimes people make their own salves, so you can do something like that, or buy like a really thick kind of foot cream. But remember that we're working up the legs as well. And when we're working up the legs, we're also working up male client legs or females who don't shave. So just keep aware that there could be tugging of body hair. Okay, so let's move to the stick. The reason why I was mentioning cream in the first place is because if your hands are creamy, your stick will be slippery. So we need to know how to hold these sticks. So I don't just hold it like this and try and push in and I just slip right down and I can't get any pressure. There's a couple things you can do for that. You could get a shorter stick so that it's actually in your palm and you're not slipping. But if you're holding your stick like a pen, then the rest of your hand kind of guides it, and you can do a pressure that's not like this, a direct pressure we're going to slip. It's a little bit more coming from the side, so you're not going to slip down the stick, okay? So when we do stick work, we're going to hold the reflex stable. Let's pretend we're doing either pituitary, we'll do sinuses after. So we're holding the actual reflex, or the body part that contains reflex, and then it's stable. There's a counter pressure, and now I'm going to press against it. And if I'm using a pen hold, I can come from any direction, right? Like it doesn't matter how you hold your pen, from which direction. You don't have to hold your pen exactly like this to get ink on the paper, right? We hold it at an angle, we're getting ink on the paper. So we're obviously transferring pressure, right? So any way you want to, directly on pituitary, I find this one the center of the pad of the big toe, or off to this side, or if you're coming from underneath, but it's just a pencil or a pen hold. And that's how we're going to do most of our points. So pituitary, pen hold, counter pressure, and you're just pressing into it. Now let's try this on your own thumb so you have an idea of what that's going to feel like. So on your thumb, you can use the counter pressure of your lap or your desk if you want to. But I want you to find a reflex, find a pituitary reflex, and then press into it. And I want you to slowly, but consistently keep adding pressure until you can't anymore, because it feels too tender too. So slowly increase your own pressure. Slowly. Now it's uncomfortable. Now it's actually borderline hurting, but I can stay relaxed. That's where I want to be. Okay, so on your own self, it's not light. There is depth. I'm pressing, come in gently. So here's nothing of a pressure. Here I'm increasing the pressure, increasing, and I'm just steadily increasing. Now I feel it's tender. Now I feel it's borderline pain. Hold. And the only way you know that is by trying it. And the only way you're going to know that with your client is if they tell you and you tell them what you're looking for. You want it to feel uncomfortable. Okay. And so each of those points that you go through for that reflexology chart, each of those points will feel uncomfortable. None of them should feel painful. None of them should elicit a pullback response. If you try and just get in there really fast with the same pressure you just did, you would elicit a defense reaction. But if you come in and earn your way in, and your client expects that, and you're talking and they expect it, now once you're your client for a long time, now they know what to expect, and that's fine. But in the first several rounds, because it is so different from regular reflexology, then you're really earning your way in and talking your way in. So let's do the sinus points all across the fingers just so we can practice them. So go more to the tip of the pad. And again, you're just going to have a counter pressure. You can use your lap or the desk or whatever. I'm just going to hold mine in the air because we're working together on camera. So again, for sinus, I'm just going to go to the top of the pad. I'm pressing in. And I find where it's uncomfortable, I go a little further. Now it's borderline painful. I'm going to hold it there. That's what I want.